The most basic thing is that something is being created that has not previously existed. You start off with a little seed and it just creates. And that's what's pretty self-satisfying about that.
Kohler's farm.
Yeah.
Gone, and all the houses went up.
That's one thing. That man, he worked from morning till night. He set up the old truck in the yard there, used to sell his vegetables. His neighbor down there used to look every morning to see if there was smoke coming out of the chimney. This morning he didn't see the smoke coming out of the chimney. He went over there and Joe was sitting in a chair, kitchen table, dead.
I heard a little bit of that story. It's quite an image. I used to just walk down the street and get vegetables, corn, and
Yeah.
he had wonderful, wonderful corn.
Oh, yeah.
And I've missed him, and I've missed the farm, and then I noticed other farms were disappearing as well. I wanted to capture it on film and share it with other people to hopefully inspire them.
Well, I hope it will. But I was happy to see when whoever developed the farm, they named one road after it. There's at least something left of the old guy.
I think all over the country, but probably even especially in Connecticut, that farmland is greatly threatened, and farmers' livelihoods have been greatly threatened. The knowledge itself is disappearing under suburban lawns and commercial developments and asphalt roads. It's a great problem.
It's all a little overwhelming because the rate of residential growth is moving very rapidly, and we've almost had to focus on getting the land preserved. And once it's gone, once it's built on, it's probably lost forever.
Nobody notices anything until it's too late. Everybody likes to go home and watch TV and put their food in the microwave, and that's it. Well, then they see the land's gone, they're like, oh, you know, I always wanted to go over there and buy milk, but I never did.
The land is the big thing. If you didn't have land, it's really hard to do.
We aren't making any more land. There's only so much land on this earth.
You know, one thing the city buys is open space. It's nice, it keeps it land, but once you buy open space, that's the end of the farmland, because that's really not really farmland anymore. You don't know what's going to happen.
Parkway became so busy, it was nice living in a nice, quiet place. But that's not it anymore. Shelton's big and noisy, and the fumes are horrendous.
Well, I tell you, on this road alone, when I was a young fellow, over by my house there was 2 houses between here and the Monroe town line. Now there's, I believe, 118 houses on one side and around 70 on the other.
So that's what happened.
That's what happened. It's not like it was. I feel bad about it too. Because it was a nice farm at one time.
You have to reflect, you have to see how things work together, because you have to get back to that balance. And unfortunately, I think we lose sight of that.
Yes, my name is Philip Hubble Jones. I was a junior when my father was living. He was Phil Jones Sr. His father was William Jones, and his father was Philip James Jones. Philip James was an immigrant from Ireland who came over in the late 1830s, just before the potato famine.
We're here at the Jones family farm. I'm Terry Jones, the 5th generation, and
I'm Jamie, the 6th generation. I grew up here on the farm, like my father did. The house right over there, and continue to live here on the farm, but only across the street right now.
never moved far away.
You feel that has been a rewarding life and a good life?
I'm satisfied with it. Well, you're more or less free. You have to live with the weather.
I don't go up there usually.
Well, I know that. That's the reason why we picked it up here. I think some of those tomatoes will work out all right. Well, this is Guy's Eco Garden, which used to be Beardsley Organic Farm. Before that, it was just Beardsley Farm. And before that, it was just a plain old dairy farm.
I just enjoy seeing the same people back every year. They become friends. Would you get the stuff out of the back of the van so I can move it, please? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark Gauger,
Carol Gallagher.
and this is Mapleview Farm that we're sitting at right here. We are organic farmers.
We sell at a local farmers market, and we also do a CSA program, which is community supported agriculture, where people buy a share on our farm at the beginning of the season, and then come once a week for a pickup, and they get a wide variety of vegetables that are coming in the garden. That's about it. That's who we are. That's what we do.
I'm Bill Duesing. I'm farm at the Old Solar Farm in Oxford. I've lived here for 31 years. And since then I've been learning how to grow things organically and have done a variety of things, basically looking at the connection between the farm and the rest of the community. I thought it was very valuable to have a farm, to know how to care for a piece of land, to make it productive. Most of my work involves education regarding the environment and agriculture and farming and food.
I'm Rudy Hudak. I've been here, I'm born here and I've always lived the same spot. When I was a kid, there probably was 45 dairy farms in Shelton. Of course, the dairy farms are all gone. We were the last one. We keep a few beef cows to keep the place clean, and we sell hay now, and Freddie Monahan plants sweet corn. Freddie grows vegetables and sells them. So I'm kind of happy to see him do that.
I'm Stasha Monahan, I guess you could say owner of Stone Gardens Farm Stand. We grow flowers and vegetables. It's great. We have our kids up here helping us out. They're with me all the time, and it's a great family business. We have a lot of questions when it comes to different things, and we're happy that we can go talk to Leonard Mchuan about different questions, bring them over, look at our vegetables, tell us, what are we doing wrong with this certain crop at this time of year.
There's no better lifestyle, really.
Why?
I don't think it's good. I mean, I got 2 kids, 2 boys we're raising. I don't think I'd raise them any different way. I don't know, what is it? I don't know. It's just being outside, watching stuff grow. Out there's nothing better than, you go out there and ted hay or something, and go out in the middle of a field, and the smell of fresh hay and the smell of the dirt when you're plowing. There's nothing better.
The Joneses seem to be lucky. My great-grandfather had a motto which essentially said, if you're good to the land will be good to you. It seems to run in our blood, I guess, because we're all dedicated to not selling building lots, keeping the farm going, and if you're good to the land will be good to you.
What does that mean, to be good to the land?
Take care of it, leave it better than when you first started getting a hold of it. Don't let it wash away. Don't sell the topsoil. Keep the old stone walls in place.
There is I feel, a spirituality of working with the land. It's a trust. We really, as the Native Americans' philosophy always has been, as I understand it, that we really don't own the land. It's entrusted to us. It's stewardship and care and nurturing for us to pass on to another generation. What really is more vital to a healthy society than clean water and breathable air and healthy, nutritious food? When you come right down to it, many of the other things that seem important in our daily lives really take a back seat to those basic three.
They're working on preserving the land, but they got to figure out how to keep it farmland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just parks and brush open space, you know what I mean? They got to worry about how to keep it farmland.
People are not associated with farming, don't realize the land doesn't stay nice. If you don't cut the hay one year and take care of the land, it's going to go right back to brush. It's natural for the land to go back to brush in this part of the country. What makes you feel bad is you see the beautiful farmland being developed. This makes you sick. See them put houses or put factories in that beautiful farm. That's a shame.
Try to cut hay and like that, but it's not like it was. It's not like it was. Because it was a nice farm at one time.
The whole farming system, as set up by our government in the last 50 years, has been basically to drive small producers off the land and to sort of encourage very large-scale farms. And so the economics make it very tough to have a successful farming operation. as that happens, then the knowledge that the farmers have, the understanding in the community about how to produce food, the critical connections between food and the environment, between human beings and the environment, is really broken and lost. And so it's a great problem. And it seems like as we get further and further from food that comes directly from the soil, our health suffers greatly. And it seems like every time you see a study on what makes people healthy, it's eating very close to the way our ancestors ate, eating whole grains, vegetables, and fruits.
I just think the pressures of our society and everybody wanting to own the McMansion house, it puts an awful lot of pressure on young people to have to go out and do those high-pressure jobs and not, look to farming as a business.
There's two trains running, the idea of preserving open space and farmland, which also has to be coupled with the notion, can you preserve farming? For farming to survive and flourish, you have to be able to make a living at it. And to make a living at farming, you need good farmland.
There's no land around. So they got to figure out something, how to make it available for the younger people.
By the tree and then work our way back up.
Grandma, where are you? I'm over here. Millions! Really? Yeah. Little small ones and yeah, but Woo! Oh, God, come over here! Blueberry party!
Oh, you got a lot. Okay, let's plant those.
Okay.
That's the way. Okay, you want a few more? Ooh, that's a lot. Oops, hold on to them. Where are they going?
Mama.
All right, we got to spread these out. We got to go to another spot. Here.
Mom.
You want some more?
As human beings, we need to eat. And the only place our food can come from, other than maybe the fish in the ocean, is from the soil.
What do you need to learn to be a farmer? What do you need to know?
The ability to be patient. And you just have to be able to see how the plants interact and the insects and the other things in the field and how they coexist, and having a sense of how things go together.
There's 6 billion organisms in a teaspoon of soil, and we really need to care for the soil on a sort of small scale and large scale in order to maintain our ability to feed ourselves. And it seems like as we get further and further from food that comes directly from the soil, our health suffers greatly.
Look over there. What do you see? Yep. So what do you do? Yeah. Grab all the leaves.
You know, if you look at the broader culture, people are absolutely ignorant. They don't even understand that you can take a plant from the ground and eat it, that might be a source of food.
And the farms in this area do provide direct marketing, and families can come with their children so they can see where food comes from, not the ubiquitous supermarket shelf.
I always said that even in elementary schools they should teach everybody how to grow a garden. You know, everybody should know how to grow a garden. That's just basic. You know, every kid should. I know when we were a kid, that's what we always did. We always had a garden, you know? And it turned into something bigger. Yeah. You know, and it could happen for anybody else if they taught it. But the parents don't do it, so why are the kids going to do it?
Hello. What are you doing? Pulling out beets, Bill. Can't you see? But you can't help. You're not strong enough. Ugh.
Watch your step here. That's little Swiss chard there. These are small beets. These are larger beets. These are beans, but not yet ready. You can see how big they are. About an inch and a half and 2 inches. But everything else, they'll be producing. This is kale. These are collards. This is some squash. And this is more squash. And here are some tomatoes.
You get into these urban areas, you lose your sense of community. And I think the farm had a sense of community. It brought people together because you did go to the farm to be able to either get your produce or get your milk. Or the farmer came to you in a lot of places. It still gave the sense of community. And we are losing that, you know. We're just society is changing, and I think we're going away from it. I think we should be able to come back to community.
People should really, you know, if they want their local farms there, they have to support them. They may, you know, some things may cost a little more than they might see in the supermarket, but they should be receiving a fresher, higher quality product. So in the end, it kind of comes down to education.
I will tell you from just our experience with our CSA customers, they bring their children because they want their children to see where their food comes from. Kids don't know how peppers grow on plants. They don't realize sometimes that potatoes are in the ground. All they know is that they get their peppers in the grocery store and they get their potatoes in the grocery store. They don't realize where they come from. And that's one thing that one component of the CSA that we really like is that when the kids come.
And it's fun. It's just fun. You never know what you get. You come here and you never know what you're going to get. It's always like a surprise today. Oh, he's so excited. You know what I mean? So you go home and you eat the freshest, you know? I tell you, the more people I tell about it, they're like, where is it? Can I get in on it? I'm like, geez, I'll give you the number, you know? So the more people that I talk to about it are, you know, thrilled. Yeah. You know, and it's so close to home.
Have you noticed that farmland is not as productive as it used to be?
Yeah, well, you know, I grew up in Bristol, and there used to be a big Larson's farm there, and it's Walmart now.
How does that make you feel?
Sad. Oh, totally sad, you know, because, you know, as a kid you could go out and we could pick strawberries here. Lots of places go pick strawberries, and now there's like two places we can go.
The neighbors, the cows get out, they do damage, the kids cut the fence. Most of the neighbors are good. We get a new neighbor and then they start throwing junk over the fence. But then after you get after them, then they see to the yard. They don't realize they throw a lot of shrubs over the fence that are poisonous to the cows and kill the cows.
Our town is just going to the dogs because growing up here when I was a child, I used to bale hay with Dave Beardsley, with Ovesiny's, Baskowski's farm, and I loved it. And the people who move in here don't appreciate what we grew up and what we had. Years ago, people who came in here, they were hard-working people, and they had a farm, and they had land, and they utilized it.
My name is David Beardsley, and for the record, I'm farming. On the top of page 7, I think the farmers in the area, a few of us to our left, might have a bit of a problem where it mentions that the fence should be set back 5 feet from the property line. You'd have a lot of brush growing up, and you'd lose the sight of the stone wall, which looks wonderful. I love those old stone walls and spent a good part of my youth rebuilding them. I don't think that's a good regulation.
I make my living on the land as a farmer, nurseryman. We're putting the burden right now on the farm owners and on the landowners and not on the developers. It does affect the farmer. I've had about 20 roosters killed. I like to hear the sound of roosters in the morning, but I don't like my neighbors killing my roosters because they don't like the sound of it. But I want any amendment that we do in the regulations for the farm should include that the right to farm act by the state of Connecticut shall always rule.
I'm also a farmer. Here's a thought. When a new home is built and placed next to a farm, at the closing, there'd be an affidavit that the buyer of that new home signs. And in that affidavit, it would explain that they're about to live next to a farm activity. And there may be odors, noises, and activities such as a farm has to have. So if at some future point in time that individual calls the zoning enforcement officer, you can say, well, look, you were told at the time you closed on your property that this is what historically you were living next to. And I think that might be worth considering.
run the farmers market, and if you're going to be a part, do well in the community, you've got to influence the community. That's all part of it. You can't isolate yourself. We're a society here, and you just absolutely have to be part of it.
Locally grown foods are always better, less pesticides. They're usually getting stuff from overseas. So you can get something freshly grown. It has a different taste as well. We have some cauliflower, way better than what you get in the supermarket. It's bigger. Also got some tomatoes.
What are those? What kind of beans are those? They're gonna be fun.
They're like Spanish beans.
Hi, here we are at opening day at City Farmers Market at Worcester Square in New Haven. We have about 7 vendors here. Most of them are organic and pesticide free. And this market is being sponsored by, or is a project of City Seed, which is a new nonprofit that was incorporated. And the goal of the nonprofit and the market is to increase access to local healthy food.
Many of these farmers are obviously trying to get their produce out to the people that actually want things that taste good and want things that are good for them. And I think just connecting people like that is a very important factor of the market. And I think that's what markets, sort of through the course of history, have been all about, is connecting people with the activity of choosing food, cooking food, and actually growing food. It's a staple of life.
Are there enough farmers out there?
Are there enough farmers? I would say there should always be more farmers. We definitely want to support family farms. We definitely want to support Connecticut agriculture. And so getting more farms here would certainly be a goal.
Could you show us what you bought here?
Got some blueberries, got some corn, some garlic, some tomatoes. Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, you're excited?
Very excited.
Why are you excited?
Because it's the only place in walking distance for me to get fresh vegetables.
And organic.
Yeah.
Why is this food better for you, do you think?
Well, if it's grown without pesticides, that's sort of a no-brainer. I don't want to eat pesticides. And if it's supporting Connecticut farmers, that's also hugely important.
One of the things that stuck with me is Wendell Berry, who's a farmer from Kentucky, wrote that it takes 3 generations to understand how to use a piece of land, how to care for it properly. And it just takes a long time to really understand when to plant the crops and how to care for the soil. It's just an enormous amount of information, needs to be accumulated and can really only be understood by actual direct experience.
Yeah, but it's up to him. You got to keep going. We're not the rarest family in the United States, but we're getting to be one of the rare ones to keep on going.
Endangered species.
You know, you got to stay on the side of hope and work with living systems and work with young people. And you know, I'm sure that some of those folks, once exposed to that little garden, will then have some thought about doing something maybe more with growing plants and animals.
This is fun, Dad.
Yeah, it is fun.
I think the agricultural component in a society helps keep the sense of community, the sense of coming together, where if you don't have that, I think you become somewhat disconnected. When you become disconnected with the ground, personally, I think you lose something.
They take care of all the weeding and all the picking. I hardly pick any vegetables at all.
We plant most of the seeds, and I plant all the transplants pretty much.
So it's a real teamwork here.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
And we know it's worked out good over the years that we just figured out what each other can do to make it work.
Teamwork.
Got to work together.
Now that's a fine tomato right there. My goodness, that's an excellent hand-filling tomato that you know is going to taste good. It's a prime time tomato, and we'll just put it right there, and then we'll get another one here too. Won't be quite as big, but if somebody wants a tomato, they'll be perfectly satisfied with that one. So you got my hat on.
Maybe you have my hat. I couldn't find my
Where's that
sun hat.
I couldn't find that little hat either. Here.
The community's very lucky to have you in it, both of you working so hard.
There's been strong efforts to preserve open space and farmland in various parts of the city. The corporate scouts that visit Shelton appreciate the vestiges of rural life that are still here, and then this helps build a tax base which has in turn enabled the city to purchase development rights to about 1,000 acres. It's a great legacy that the present administration and really the citizens that have supported these efforts, it's a great legacy they're leaving for the future generations.
So what does a farm teach a person?
More patience, I guess. Steadfastness, whatever you want to call it.
I think it's exciting to plant a seed in the ground, you know, to watch it grow, you know, nurture it. I think that's really neat.
There's something just very rewarding about watching the crops grow and also being able to bring them into the home and produce a wonderful meal. It's just very satisfying.
I feel like, you know, following you around, that you have this great sort of love for each plant and each, you know, experience here.
When you put them in, you want them to do well. You know, you want to give them as much a chance as you can.
people kind of like to see the farmers. A lot of people respect us with the tractors. They kind of move over for us to get down the road, or if they come out of the street with the wagon with hay or something. Yeah. There's some of them don't care. They try to run you off the road and everything else.
There was a trying to
the only thing is they see the big tractor coming out, they figure in their car, you know, they gotta move. So there's always some nice people, you know.
But it's still crazy now this time of year. It's non-stop. But it's fun.
Say that again.
It's fun.
It is. You have to enjoy it.
Otherwise
Otherwise, you wouldn't be
kids.
doing it.
It's something you enjoy. You get to be doing what you enjoy every day. There's no one else watching my kids. My kids are here with me every day.
You know, there's something nice about going out there also being able to pick, you know, fresh strawberries, or, you know, finding some beautiful, you know, red tomatoes that you just pick. There's something good about that. And to be able to share that with people too is something we like to do. I mean, it's fun.
The only way we can preserve farms in our communities is by supporting those farms, by buying from those farmers. It really requires our participation.
Says the mayor, I said, Mayor, I said, I do not want this farm to grow up in brush. I said, I want to stay open. Because I've plowed the whole top of the hill myself several times, and I don't want to grow up the brush. He said it won't happen.
Well, I think basically most every community appreciates the possibility of saving what's left, which conflicts with those who are in the development business. But even some of them realize that you can't have a house on every acre. You're going to lose your ambiance, you're going to lose the draw into the country. So we should all work together and try to save whatever we possibly can.